Good morning, everyone. So, as I know, like most of you will be preparing for the exam, and also even the guys that are not preparing for it, it might be also like very valuable to talk a little bit about features related to Boston Scientific, especially in the bardy, since maybe most of you can find out more or less bardy Boston Scientific devices on a routine basis, and more of
Okay, sorry. تمام شغال.
Hello? Can you hear me without the mic?
Yes.
Is it okay?
شغال.
That's better. في عندك مشكلة
لا.
وزيد عليه الوزن. So that's why we're gonna talk about like very specific features that you can maybe hear the name in other companies, but the concept and the principle and even the procedure, the stages that are with Boston Scientific are completely different. This is for the guys that knows already this feature, it will be a refreshment, and for the guys and the doctors that are going to hear it for the first time, it's going to be really valuable for them, especially for the EHRA training and exam. So I will not be talking about routine practices and usual troubleshooting showing like ventricular oversensing, because maybe you can see these on daily basis and you will find maybe more examples than I do even. And we will not even talk about intermittent atrial or ventricular undersensing, because also this kind of cases can be happening with all devices and all manufacturers. And this is your routine practice also to manage this and to know how to work with these. We will not talk about loss of capturing and the causes of loss of capturing, the reason behind loss of capture that can be physiological, that can be clinical, that can be pathological or even technical due to different reasons. Even for the PMT prevention and the different algorithms that avoid PMT and work on PMT like solution or resolution, will not be tackling this. And that's why, because most of the PMT algorithms are same. So Boston, Medtronic, Abbott, they have the same concept, same feature and same steps. However, we will be talking about something very specific to Boston Scientific. The name, you know it from different manufacturers as well, but the feature itself and the stages are completely different. So please give me a hint. What do you see here? I know it's like, it seems that a very normal strip with like very high atrial rate, maybe deep pacing. So we assume that this patient is complete heart block. Any answers here? Anyone has like a, from this, I know it's a very small strip, very short one with no history.
The answer from the floor.
Okay, so as a hint, I will move forward and I will show you this one. It's the same feature working here. So markers show a very high atrial rate. However, deep pacing is controllable and slow. But what does ATR marker mean? What does the ATR FB means? What does ATR with an arrow means here? So all of these will be tackled in our presentation. And this will help you a lot, doctors, whenever you want to go into like a third party or like an organization exam, where they will be asking you about different manufacturers. And this can happen in the EHRA or even in the IBFRE or the FRS. That's why talking a little bit about this feature. So it's the atrial tachy response, or what you know also under the name of mode switch. But mode switch, we call it in different manufacturer. In Boston Scientific, we call it ATR. It's mainly for paroxysmal atrial tachycardia patients. It's not indicated for permanent or persistent. It can be also like used for sure, but it's not the optimal. This is to minimize the time that the ventricular paces at the maximum tracking rate. Whenever you have an atrial tachycardia that is like paroxysmal. Moving forward to talk a little bit about the feature itself. So as you can see here, it's not only one step like the other manufacturer. It's a total of 3 steps. And this is very important. The first step, it's what we call entry count. The second one is the duration. And finally, we will mode switch. So before that, we have a whole bunch of evaluation steps and diagnostic steps that are necessary and obligatory to start mode switching. Otherwise, we will not be mode switching. Unlike the others, you can say that, okay, mode switching here will take a little bit of time, but this is programmable. So you can even make it very short, you can make it sensitive, you can make it more specific. It depends on your daily practice and preference. Therefore, let's start with the first one, the entry count. What's the entry count? The entry count, it's easy. It's same for all manufacturers. But however, we will not start directly after it to go back, to go down. We will have another step afterwards. Entry count, it's the number of interval, AA interval, that will be taken into consideration if they are higher than the detection rate. So whenever the detection rate was programmed, for example, 170 pace per minute or beat per minute, then any AA interval coming above this detection rate will be considered in the entry count. That's why this is programmable. That's why once we see an ATR with an up arrow, this means that the entry counter, it's counting up. 1, 2, 3, 4, till it reach the number of intervals that we already assigned in the program, or we programmed. I will show you examples afterwards. And whenever you see on the strip or the markers any ATR with an arrow down, this means that the counter is counting down. So it's deducting and not adding. Once we finish this and it's fulfilled, we will go to duration. Just one note here. Exit count, which will exit us from all this feature, will start directly once the entry count will be fulfilled and satisfied. So this is also to make sure that no need for DDIR or DDI or any asynchronous mode can be like shifted or reversed on spot. Let's go further. This is an example for the entry count, exit count. So once I started by measuring the atrial activity, I will start like taking the first one. So the first one is below the 150 program rate, which is the detection rate that we already put on the program. Then it will be 0 counted. Another 0 counted. The first one will be higher than 150. The second one, the third one higher, fourth, fifth, sixth. But the seventh one is under. So then we will deduct. And we will keep doing this till we fulfill the entry count number, which we already programmed, which is an 8 here. And once it's fulfilled and satisfied, an exit count will be also running in parallel with the duration. So this is the duration phase here, and in parallel we will have an exit count there. So just to make sure not to stay fixed in the ATR. That's why a duration, what's a duration? A duration, it's a very well specific number of V cycles that we already also programmed. And when we programmed it, we will monitor in parallel the atrial events and atrial intervals. So then we will do the same procedure here, but in the duration mode. So, for example, if the duration phase was 8 cycles of these events, then during these V events, that could be like a 3 second, 2.5 second, it depends on the V events, then the pacemaker will be also monitoring the atrial channel, and it's gonna see if all events are more than the detection rate, then we will go to the fallback or the mode switch, which is like the thing that we are the result of all this evaluation. So,
Excuse me, before you proceed, I want to clarify one point. The entry count is you count from the atrial channel. Okay, and you have to collect 8. It shouldn't be. It's not supposed to be consecutive beats, but 8 collective beats with the entry cycle length or the heart rate to say that you have an atrial tachycardia.
Exactly.
But the duration, you count on the ventricular channel?
We count on both. We count on the ventricular channel only to fulfill the duration itself. So, for example, I programmed the duration to 8. 8 mean not 8 seconds. It's 8 ventricular cycles. So during this
which are each ventricular cycles which are at the high rate or what?
at the rate that was
Atrial tachycardia rate.
Yeah, so this
Because
is the rate.
whenever you have an atrial tachycardia, the pacemaker is subsequently pacing at the high tracking rate.
Exactly.
Yes.
Still, as you can see here, doctor, the V rate will start going up till it reaches the MPR. So
Yes.
here we are still on the MPR. We didn't do any action. We didn't take any action here.
Yes.
Okay.
This is important.
This is so important. So we're gonna see what's the MPR, and according to the MPR, we will see the duration because it's gonna be 8, for example, or 4 or 5, depends on your programmability. 8 cycles on the MPR, and during this cycle, we will be monitoring the atrial channel itself.
And that was presented in the first EGM that you presented, or ECG you presented.
Exactly.
It was an atrial tachycardia
The first
with
one-
MTR.
Yeah, no, the first one, it was already fallback.
Okay.
It was already mode switch. Because
switch.
if you want to go back
We
here,
go back, right? You had 2.
so as you can see here, the V pacing is
Yeah.
very slow compared to the A sensing.
Yeah, okay.
So it was already fallback.
Fallback.
So this is in action. This is the feature in action. So let's start with the first case study to make it more like comprehensive and so you can understand it more. We don't have a lot of time, I think, or no, we are still good on time. Then we will take it slowly. Or if you want to like go earlier, we can keep the pace. Okay, so it's a patient.
Excuse me, it's an interactive session. If any of the floor, أي حد عنده أسئلة من الفلور, you can ask. Sorry for this.
So the patient and the device data here. As you can see, the patient is 100% asensing. So he has like his own sinus node is normal and everything is going well. However, he's on complete heart block. So since 100% the ventricle is pacing. The mode is DDI, the lower rate is 60, and the MTR, maximum tracking rate, is 130. ATR nominal parameters. So here we're going to talk only about how the ATR took action and how it interfered. So, as I told you before, all of these parameters are programmable. For sure. in future we can talk, or another time we can talk about like the preference that you might have, but it depends always on, but it depends always about your routine practice and the patient itself. Okay, so the trigger rate, which is the detection rate, is 170 pace per minute. So above this number, any atrial event that comes in will be entered during the enter count. The entry count will be for 8 cycles. So 8 collective, like the doctor said already, collective cycles that should be above the ATR trigger rate will fulfill the entry counter. The second step, duration, 8 V cycles. So we're gonna be observing the atrial rate during these 8 V cycles that will be at maximum tracking rate. The fallback mode will be DDI here. We will talk, it's also programmable, so it's your preference as well. But usually we prefer to keep it on DDI just in case of sudden pauses in the atrium. So we can take action at least. Fallback time will be 30 seconds, programmable as well. ATR lower rate, 70 if we succeeded to go to the end of this extent. And the exit count is also 8 cycles of low or like slow atrial intervals. Slow means here less than 170. Okay, I'm sorry about the markers, they are small here, but I'm gonna show the phases of the strip and I'm gonna tell you what's happening. So first, the pacemaker is tracking at 65. The atrial rate is normal, there is nothing major here. However, a fast trigger AS will start and it will trigger also the entry count of the ATR. So here we can see it's very small, but we can see them. 8 ATR with high arrows. This means that the pacemaker is counting up till it fulfills at the end the entry count, which is the first step, and then we will go to the second phase, the ATR duration, for 8 consecutive beat cycles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. During these, the pacemaker will be also monitoring the A markers as well. So we should be like sustainable on an atrial tachycardia in order to take action and start, and the duration will be fulfilled, and start our fallback or the mode switch that we need. So, you see here, starting the fulfillment of the duration, the V pacing will go down gradually. In parallel, ATR with the arrow towards the down will be also measured or marked on the strips. Why? Because as we said before, the exit count has already started to get rid of this ATR feature. Then we will keep going gradually till we reach 78. We still didn't reach 70. No need for it, because after this the ATR will be exiting, and the exit count during all these phases will be working in parallel in the background to exit us, and then we will go back to a DDD mode again. So these will be stored on the EGM as well, because in Boston Scientific devices, storage will start after the third fast beat. So for atrium, whenever we go upper or higher than the ATR detection rate 3 times or 3 consecutive beats, the storage will start. We don't have any restrictions or limitations in terms of storage and battery. It's easy for us to store whatever and whatever you want. However, for the V, and we will talk about this tomorrow in the Turkey session, for the V, it's also, for the new devices, 3 consecutive VT or VF markers will open or trigger a storage, or for the old devices, in case you saw any old device, legacy of guidance, it's after the 8. That's why here, so this is I opened this window just to also, it's more information about the device itself and how it sees the storing device. Okay, so this is a second case. I hope you can see a little bit of these markers, but these markers are so important to know. And whenever you see any of these markers in the exam or during your practical life, just make sure that this is Boston Scientific and it's going in the ATR FB. So, PVP, sorry. So, I don't know if you can see it, but this is a PVP with a narrow or extension. I think that most of you knows about the PVC response and PVC or PVAR extension. So this is how we market on a Boston Scientific also device. So anytime you see this one, this means that there's a PVC that was already recognized and that the pacemaker is taking its action according to this PVC. So ATR here as it could be for doctor, and there's something here, doctor. Whenever you cannot find the device, won't find or will find also another way preceded by an AR, and AR in Boston Scientific devices is the AS between brackets.
It's refractive.
Refractive.
Yeah, refractive. It's a signal that
it's inside the PVAR.
Oh, yes.
Then the device will consider this as a PVC automatically. So PVC for most of the devices, not only Boston Scientific, even for Medtronic and the others, PVC for devices, pacemakers and ICDs, it's either R wave not preceded by a P wave, or an R wave that was preceded by a refractory wave. Upon?
Because
we went to DDI. So here, I want to continue. If you allow me. So here, we started our counter. And we can see the ATR with arrows here, going up, and then it will be fulfilled. ATR duration will come inside. So we will be also like looking for this, monitoring the atrial channel during the duration. Afterwards, this ATR will be in action and the fallback started. It will start directly. Once it's started, the DDI mode will be triggered. That's why here we are asynchronous, because DDI means that the filter is working alone and the atrial is working alone.
There's a name.
The ray, I don't have like a lot of info related to the ray, but I'm not sure if this is the flutter that is one or not. Maybe you can help me with Okay, so let's go to the third case or the second here. This is a case where I want to show you only. I will not show you strips, but this is a real case that happened with us. I want to show you how the device itself, whenever you will find like even, and this is also related to your exam or on your daily practice. Whenever you see a report, how you know that ATR is working here, and what action were took, and what are the results. This is so important. So, first of all, in the event summary, you will find ATR here with a lot of information, and the event will be marked as per the hour and the date, and also the rate of the ATR that resulted at the end of this event. We go further and further. We can see that this patient went in an AF from June 2019 till September 2019. Before that, he wasn't on AF. We knew from the history of this patient, especially from his histogram. In parallel, you can find more information also on the P-wave amplitude. So the P-wave amplitude here is so fluctuating, which means that the P-wave itself gain is changing. And this also confirmed the AF burden of this patient. This is also another time confirmed from the ATR mode switch histogram itself that shows an atrial sense that's really high compared to the ones before. And these are before the atrial, these histogram or these events were just before the atrial flutter or atrial fibrillation. That's why we think that ATR here is valid for this patient, because this patient is not on permanent AF, he's on paroxysmal AF, hopefully, and this should be like follow-up, the patient should be follow-up to see what's happening with him. However, we can see all events related to ATR since it started till now, so in between August 19 and September 19, and the ATR ventricular controllable rate average that happened due to this ATR feature and how it helped to control the beat pacing. So here most of the time it was pacing the ventricle on 66. Another case here also. So this is the third case that we can talk about. There's a little bit here of causes that can be also causing the ATR to work improperly, to be honest. Because oversensing for sure, or SVTs can also make this feature works improperly. Then that's why we should see the patient, and we should follow up on the patient whenever we can, especially for patients with high atrial rates. So, as we can see here, it's a high atrial rate that will trigger another ATR intervention. But before that, we can see here that we have an intermittent atrial undersensing, which also delay the intervention of ATR. And this is also very pity, because whenever the patient or the device is not seeing these flutters or these atrial rates that are very fast, it will not be able to change to asynchronous mode or DDI mode. Therefore, it took a little bit of time before the sensing came back again to its normal functionality to be able to appropriately take action in terms of mode switch. So this was like a case where in the beginning the pacemaker couldn't see all atrial events. It took time for us to change or to mode switch due to this sensing problem. Therefore, it's so important to link all these features with the very basic things that we do on daily basis during our follow-up. For example, sensing, pacing. As you know, undersensing means overpacing. Oversensing means underpacing. So all of these will also be affecting the complex features that we have, knowing that we are going into different phases to reach out the mode switch. It's not only like other manufacturers just talking about the counters itself for like about 3 seconds or 2.5 seconds. It's all about duration, entry counters, exit counters as well. Okay, so we finished with ATR here, and we're gonna move to another feature. It's a very interesting feature that you already know about it. You have heard most of the manufacturing talking about the same principle of pacing avoidance, but in different ways. So, I'm sure that you already heard about MVP, you already heard about VIP, and now I'm going to talk about Rhythm IQ. So Rhythm IQ is the pacing avoidance feature that is dedicated or exclusive to Boston Scientific. Every manufacturer has its own taste or twist. Ours is a little bit different. Some of the people, maybe, or maybe key opinion leaders, think that this is a little bit conservative feature, but others might say that this is how we need to take into consideration any pacing avoidance concept or principle to avoid any drop-off, to avoid any pauses, and also to avoid short, long pauses that might also happen to trigger something more critical. As such, what do you think of this strip? It's not the complete strip. This is the first part of it. However, this is the continuation. A sense, V sense, A sense, V sense. It's tracking normally till a delay happened here. You will be obliged to pace. Afterwards, another drop will happen another time, the second time, and a third one as well. And then a marker appears on the strip. The RMS here stands for the reverse mode switch, or the Rhythm IQ. So, as you know, the goal is to promote intrinsic conduction via adapting pacing mode to the patient pacing condition. Normally it's off, because this is only indicated for patients with intact or even like intact conduction, even though in some patients where we have long AV delays, he might be symptomatic. That's why we consider keeping it off better than normally on, due to all these risks that might come with this feature.
Some companies use it on.
Yes. I'm not sure if now with their upgrades they changed the mentality, but most of them will keep it off.
It's supposed to be off.
It's supposed to be
Should
off.
be programmed. Programmed after implementation. Shouldn't be on by default.
Exactly. So assessing the patient, see how this conduction is it intact? Is it like first degree AV block? Is he symptomatic? Can he tolerate it? And then we can turn it on or off. So it depends on every case by case. So the primary mode here, it's AAI. So we aim to make it active all the time. This is our ideal solution. If the patient can tolerate it and he's the right eligible patient, we will be fortunate if we keep it on. But for sure, we will have a VVI backup here in the primary mode and a secondary mode as like a rescue mode for this patient. That will be very hard to turn it back to the AAI once it's deactivated. Okay, so what I mean here, if we started with the AAI mode, with a VVI backup at lower rate minus 15 pace per minute. So, as you can see here, it's not like the other companies. The V-pacing will be done automatically, independently of the atrial tracking. So we are not waiting for the next atrial sense to come to give a safety pace. It will be paced normally on lower rate, regardless of the atrial tracking or the atrial event. This is one. We will keep the AAI till we have 3 collective blocks in 11 rolling window, 11 event of rolling window. So we will be checking 11 rolling window, and in between, if we have V blocks, and blocks here means V pacing or V senses that are at least 150 milliseconds slower than the atrial pacing rate. So if we have one of these parameters or events happening, then the device will be shifting from AAI to DDD. Whenever we want to go back from DDD to AAI, here we're gonna struggle a little bit. So it's even, we are sure that this patient will go back to its own conduction system, and we are sure of the safety of this feature working for this particular patient, or we will not do it again. So DDR will stay DDR. However, AV Search Plus will help us to search for more intrinsic rates and V tracking. However, if we couldn't find 25 successful V sense, we will not go back again. We will stay on the DDD, and if 2 VPs happen in 10 cycles, this counter will count again, and we will start from scratch searching using the AV Search Plus any intrinsic rate and start counting from 1 to 25. So this is the briefing of this feature. It's a very interesting feature. We will make sure that the patient is always on a pacing schedule. There is no drop, no pauses, no long, short event that could trigger any critical situation. So here's the one of the, I think I still have 2 minutes, so I'll talk a little bit about some cases. Here you can see A sense, V sense, A sense, V sense. So we are in the AI, A sense, V sense. Still, we couldn't find any ventricular sensing tracked by the A sense. Then the pacemaker will pace independently of the A sensing, because we cannot tolerate more delay of this drop. Here, transition from AAI to DDD. 3 consecutive V pacing will trigger or will shift us, revert us from AAI to DDD, and then it will take us 25 successful V senses to go back to AAI. This is the whole briefing of everything, the 11 rolling counters that should be in place, and the 3 V senses that happen. These are very long blocks that happen in between to make us change from AAI to DDD. And that's it for the features that I wanted to talk about this morning. We have plenty of other features, but these are very important to know, especially for your script interpretation and analysis, and during your exams, because we have a lot of markers and annotations that you can see that are specific for Boston Scientific. And hope this will be quite helpful for you and will try out. Any questions?
Regarding this, I think it's like
Yes.
Once upon the long exposure patient any experience and this search every 16 hours there, how much it is repeated?
It's also related to the search AB plus that we have. So you can start, yeah, as I mentioned here, if you want to search it back again, we will be using the search, the AB search statistics plus. So it's very similar to what we were trying, but with different also programmability. So you can program this. However, in electronic you cannot program it. So if you want to program it for example, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, till 16 hours, you can do it. If you want to make it lesser, you can also make it lesser. It depends also on your preference. This is the good thing about Boston, that it's maneuver, you can customize it whenever you want. So I think this is the question that
if you search the extended one and you are about to program.
Programmable. It's all programmable. This is what I'm. However, Medtronic, they will start 1 minute, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, then they reach 16 hours. It's different here. It's different here. But we are conservative in terms. This is the difference. We are conservative in terms of going back to AAR.